Welcome to Mouseflow's tutorial series. Let's take a look at the heat map list. When you open Mouseflow, the first thing that you're going to notice is that all of the features are on the left-hand side of the screen. Now, if you go to Heatmaps and click on it, that will land you on the screen that we have right here that we call the heat map list. So the first thing that you may be wondering is, how do you get all of those heat maps generated? And surprise, surprise, you don't have to do anything. Actually, Mouseflow generates 6 types of heat maps for all of your pages as soon as you start recording. So let's go back to the heat map list here. And the first thing that you're going to notice is that you have the name of the pages that are being recorded for which you have data for. And that in and of itself is a heat map, but we'll open it in a second. Then the second thing you notice on the column is that you have the number of views that that page has gotten, the visit time, how long they stayed on that page, the engagement. That's how long they've actually done something on the page, It doesn't matter if the visit time is 5 minutes. If there's no engagement, there's probably nothing going on there. Next up is clicks. Easy. The number of clicks that that page has generated. Now you have render time, which is how fast that page is rendering. This is quite important nowadays because this is what's going to determine if you have more or less conversions. The average scroll depth is the next column, which is kind of a tricky metric to look at, because if you don't take into account how long the page is, the scroll depth is actually maybe lying to you. Then next up is friction, which we'll cover in another video. It's essentially will tell you whether or not people are experiencing friction on that page and what is the average friction score for that page. And then the size of the page, right? The bigger the size, the longer it takes to render, or hopefully not. So when you look at this, you see that it hovers and it becomes a clickable element. You're going to see here that it opens up a drawer of elements, some of them familiar, because you have views, clicks, scroll, but you also have other information, which is how many times this page was the entry page or the first page people saw when they landed on your site, or what is the percentage of exits for this page. So if you have a high exit rate on this page, you might need to start asking questions here. You also see the height of the page, which is how long the page is. And this is one of those little insights that I can give you, that whenever you're looking at scroll depth or average scroll depth, make sure you check out how long the page is, because a 20% scroll depth in average on a 4,000 pixel page is not the same as 200 pixel page, right? That makes total sense. So that is the heat map list. When you click on any of them, you see that you have the option to opening up 5 different types of heat maps here. The live heat map, which is our dynamic heat map, the click heat map, the movement heat map, the scroll heat map, and the attention heat map. And we'll cover all of this in a separate video, all right? So you don't have to worry about that now. So that is it for the heat map list. Remember that all of the content on Mouseflow is actually dynamic, and every time you interact with any of these filters, which obviously we'll cover in another video, this information will change. See you in the next round.